Hi everyone, it's Rochie and it's Thursday night once again here in New Jersey and good morning Manila. Yes, it's Friday morning and I hope you're all watching us back there because you're still on lockdown, which is a good thing for me. So say hi if you are there and we're going to keep you company this morning. And I hope if you are in YouTube right now, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you won't miss it. And of course, we are live right now. So you can ask questions, put it in the comment section, and we are more than happy to answer some of your questions regarding our beautiful topic for tonight. And guess what, guys? Celebrate with me because this is our 1 year anniversary video or show. So let's get started, guys, okay? Our topic for tonight is something that is very close to everybody's heart. I knew women like this topic, and I think most men love this topic too, as well. So let me get started with the first question. What would you feel if you actually lost 100 pounds? Yes, that is the biggest question. How would you feel if you lost 100 pounds of weight? And guess what, guys? Here at Getting Candid with Rochie, we talk to real people. And our guest for tonight, she's a very dear friend. I've known her for what, ages already, since our kids were in kindergarten. And I've seen her in her transformation, and I cannot say, I'm speechless actually from her, from witnessing her transformation, how she really bloomed and blossomed. So tonight, our very beautiful guest is no other than Miss Carolina Morati. Hi, Carolina.
Hi, Rochie.
Okay, hi, everyone. Welcome, Carolina. So, guys, say hi to Carolina.
Good
So,
morning, everybody, and good night for the ones that are in America. Manila, Filipinas. I'm so excited for you guys to see me today. Thank you so much for the invitation and happy anniversary.
thank you. See, it's our transformation
Yeah,
episode, right?
yes. Transformation is key, and it has to start for the decision of you trying to do something about it. It is
Okay.
essentially that.
Oh, yeah. So,
Well, we
she's
we have
already,
a lot to talk. Yes, we
yeah,
have a lot to talk.
she is already starting. But you know what? Because of the episode, we will talk about first losing weight and what are the things that happen, what transformation happens aside from the dress size. So with our first question, Carolina, we are in our what, 40s, right? Are you in your 40s?
I'm, I'm 36.
Okay, so we're in the 30s and 40s. So we're no longer like in the early teens where usually whatever we eat we don't get big, we don't get big at all, we can eat whatever we want. But in your story, in your part, because I've already introduced you as someone who lost 100 pounds, were you always been a big child?
Yes, I was. Yes, I always was. In my pictures when I was a baby, when I was a kid, when I was a 5-year old, I was always overweight. First of all, I was the first child. I was the first daughter, the first granddaughter, the first niece, the first everything, right? Like we say in Spanish, I was la número uno, the number one, right? So for that, in my family, they have excessive amounts of love. Latino community, we perform our love by food, right? If I love you, I give you food. If we go into sorrow, we're going to eat. If we go into a happy moment, we're going to eat. If I go outside to do some errands, I'm going to come back with something for the little baby, right?
Mhm.
So I always have chocolates and little things and cakes. And I grew up in a restaurant. So
Okay,
I was
so another
always,
thing.
yes. So I was always surrounded by food,
Hmm.
you know. So that was the main issue. And that was the situation with me, that I grew up with a lot of food, and then later on some issues, right? Kind of some way, somehow, my family taught me to drown everything good and bad with food, celebrate and happy and sad moments with food, and that um conduct me or take me to deal or depend on food in a different way. That was the reason I started gain more weight.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So being a big kid or curvy kid, because I always say most Latinos, you always have something uh at the bottom. Like there's something in the trunk, so you're always considered curvier, even though you're skinny. You're not much like the Asians who are very skinny. You're
Yeah.
mostly
I
curvy.
wasn't I wasn't really never curvy. It was not on my genes.
Mm-hmm.
I was more like a square boxy kinda.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always chubby, but I was never curvy. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, I was big. My
Yeah.
main issue was like probably that when I was a teenager, they used to call me ma'am already. So by the way I look like
Mm-hmm.
somebody older than my age.
Oh, because you're
Yeah,
like
and it was an
bigger.
issue. Yes, bigger and older. That's why
And
weight, like being overweight. That's what it costs. I'm sorry to cut you, but I'm getting messages asking for the link. For some reason, I'm having difficulties sharing the link.
okay,
Sorry.
so yeah, just do that one. It's okay, so you can share it. But you know what? One question is for you is like all of us, especially women, the teenage years is always stressful, right? Because you're just getting to know your body, and people tend to you know look on your flaws more. So were you conscious as a kid, or as a teenager, about your weight, and how does it affect you?
As a kid, I was always concerned. I would always feel different for the reason because I was very overweight and I was also a brown kid,
Oh,
right?
yes. Mm-hmm.
So I have all the ads on me. First of all, I was very Indian looking,
Mm-hmm.
brown kid, overweight, and on top of that, I wear glasses because I couldn't see.
Oh, so you got
You
all
know,
like the
so I got
stereotypes.
I was stereotypes with feet, right? I was my whole myself. I was in a stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
So that was an issue for me because I needed to learn how to deal with all of that. And my whole um kid age, in my whole teenager age, and some of my young adult life, I have to learn how to love myself. And I used to deal with that by making jokes about myself all the time. So that
Oh.
was my excuse. How to learn to joke about myself so people won't make fun of me first. Let me be the
So.
one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me be the one to be the one making the jokes about myself so people won't bully me or people won't make fun of me. I want to be the one. So I
Mm-hmm.
used to do that all the time. And I used to always pretend that, I was good. Until then, maybe when I became 15, I started doing my makeup and I really didn't care. I started really loving myself. But the fact that you don't love yourself and you thinking yourself as an ugly person or fat person, it make you think and it make you get into decisions that you don't expect, right? Because
Yeah.
uh in life it affects you in so many ways.
Mm-hmm. I
But
agree with you on that, because
yeah,
it really affects one's self-esteem. When you don't love yourself, you're always looking for something, and it's one thing that um people, even until our age, if we don't accept ourselves, it is something that is very, very hard, because no matter how much money we have, how much makeup we put on, how much procedures you done to yourself, it's still not enough, right?
absolutely, absolutely. It depends and like it's key. It affects you in so many ways.
Mm-hmm. So my question is, okay, I know you're honest, and most women don't want to answer this, but I know you will. What was your heaviest weight?
My heaviest weight, I make posts about it. I put it on pictures because you have to be proud and not embarrassed. A lot of people is embarrassed of all the process that I did to get here, and we're gonna talk about it. I was 337 pounds. My height is I'm 5'3".
Mm-hmm.
So, but I used to hide it really good by the way I dress up and all of that. Nobody believed me. I was 337 pounds. I was
See, I didn't know. I thought you were just on the, I would say, a little above 200 at that time. You
250. Yeah.
because you
No.
do not even 250. Maybe I just, a little over, maybe 210, 200, because yes, you do hide it. It's not really hide. You do carry it well, I have to say. And you know what? Because you're always lively, always smiling, people love your face. I love your face, because I don't look at your, I'm just being honest. When you're there, I don't really pay attention much on the lower, because on the face itself, you're smiling, you're happy. I would focus on that one more than your weight. But
That was also
300 pounds.
337, and that was also something I used to do. I used to be the let me be the good fat girl who's going to do whatever it takes for you to like me, right? So that's
Mhm.
how you try to get people to like you, by doing everything that yeah, like by trying to not to say no, never, because you try to compensate, and you try to think that because you're fat or you're big, you have to cater for every single person, you
Oh,
know.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But not,
So,
not it's necessarily not that's not something that you necessarily have to do, or do like always being trying to do that for people. It's not me. You have more talents, and then you get there when you start realizing how valuable you are for society and for people around you.
yeah. So, what was your wake up call to finally do something about your weight?
Oh, my wake up call was big. Was big. Oh, um, I got I was preparing for surgery for about 5 years. My nutritionist was absolutely tired of me. Shout out to Sarah. Because she have the patient of the world. She was very patient with me. I started my process, and it took me like 4 years. My surgeon was like, "No, you're not ready. You need to be mentally ready. You have that fat mentality. You're a chef. You need to change your career if you really wanna change your life and lose weight." I was like, "How do you want me to change my career? Like, this is how I feed my family. Like, what do you
Mhm.
want me to be? Stopping being a chef?" He's like, "You need to do that." And then life made me change my career in a way, because I fractured my back, and that kind of led me to start teaching, and instead of like working as a
Cooking,
chef
yeah.
full time. But that wasn't the reason. I got a cold one day. I got severely, like I was coughing and all of that. And before that, I used to um I used to host an event called Mercado Esperanza, and I used to be in the microphone and walking to the park all day. By the time I got home, I couldn't even sit down because I used to have so much pain in my back. My belly
Uh-huh.
used to be super heavy. I used to have that pain, right? So I got this cold, and I was coughing in the bathroom, and I got cramps in my belly,
Mhm.
cramps in the top part of my chest. So I was like, I'm having a heart attack. I couldn't breathe. The cramps, I cannot even explain you. The pain was inside my body. I couldn't control it. I started sweating, profusely sweating, and I couldn't even, I really cannot breathe, right? I
Mhm.
was having problems breathing. And I saw my son's face. He was in front of me, trying not to cry, desperate. He was just looking everywhere. He was trying to help me, and he couldn't do nothing for me. His
Mhm.
fate was my wake up call. I was like, I do have to do something about it. I do
Mhm.
have to help my kid to get better. I used to help my kid. by making myself better, he's gonna get better. But what if I die today? I'm gonna leave
Mm-hmm.
him alone, and I'm gonna leave him so sad. He was desperate. He was like, "Mommy, mommy, mommy," and then the ambulance came and all of that, right? So my mom has to call the ambulance. She was also very worried. So I was like, you know what? I can do this. And that was the moment I decide. And I think that was like in January 2019. And I was like, this has to stop. And I got in a conversation with one of my friends, and then we start the process that, I let you keep asking the questions, but we'll talk about it in a second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was really a scary call because you know what? Having, being sick, not just in front of your child, or you could easily, that's what, one of the things, if you're not healthy physically, is that anytime, it's like a ticking time bomb for us. And if we have small, at that time, I know your child is still young, you don't want to leave your child alone, right?
No,
Even if he has his abuela, but I know you wouldn't want,
absolutely.
mommy, right? So describe us the process on losing weight. It's not just okay. At first, I know you tried everything, all the different diets and
I
everything,
did.
right?
I
Mm-hmm.
did, but being completely honest, I try and I drop it. I say, you have heard that story that they say, I'll start my diet on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And then Monday gets, and you say, oh, next Monday. Or Monday gets, and by Wednesday, you're watching a movie, eating pizza, and having a bunch of snacks, and forget about the diet, right? So I used to have that tendency of playing myself and telling myself, yeah, 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 you're dieting, but I never really did it seriously, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I meet with my friend who also happens to be a chef, and she talked to me about this diet. She said, there is a diet called keto. And I said, I heard about it, but I love my bread, I love my rice. How can I
Mm-hmm.
leave that? And she's like, you have to. I said, I want to because my son is really, I got really sick last week. And I told her the whole story, right?
Yeah.
She's like, just look into keto diet and start doing it. And I did.
Mm-hmm.
That was in January. By March, when I was about to get into the second part of my process, I lost already 50 pounds in less than
Mm-hmm.
2 months because I was super heavy. That's why it was
Yeah.
easier for me to
Absolutely.
lose the weight, right? Because I was really heavy. And this diet pretty much consists in depriving yourself from carbohydrates, which gave you access to, use the fat as a fuel, and you feed in the fat with fat. And that's how
Mm-hmm.
you start burning more calories, and you start losing more weight.
Yeah. So
So by
a
that
little,
time,
yeah, a little background on keto. So what, for example, is a typical breakfast, lunch, and dinner when you do keto?
well, you consume a lot of eggs, bacon, butter, meats, like 5 different kinds of fruits. There is not a lot of fruits you can consume. Same
Mm-hmm.
thing with vegetables, like 5 or 10 fruits that you can consume on keto. You cannot consume regular sugars, refined sugars, or not even honey, nothing with sugar, nothing with carbohydrates. Your carbohydrates have to come from your vegetables
Mm-hmm.
and no sugars at all. The only sugars you're going to put in your body are the sugars from the fruits, and then two alternative sugars that they're allowed on that diet, right? So it's not, you cannot do a Splenda or like regular sugars like that. There is two of those that, Lacanto and another one that you can consume, but it's better if you don't, right? You do a lot
Mm-hmm.
of MCT oil, things like that. They're going to give you a lot of fuel, a lot of avocados, and a lot of bacon, a lot of chicken, because I was used to eat a lot. In one sitting, I couldn't finish a half a chicken because my
Mm-hmm.
stomach was that big. And to be able to not to feel hungry and not to crave the soda or the coffee with bread and all of that, I have to eat big amounts of money. I mean, big amounts of food, which led me to spend a lot of money. It's an expensive diet,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
but
Because
yeah, because carbs is much cheaper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of that it make you bad is very, very, very cheap.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy a soda for 68 cents. Mind you, though, I was so my I was really, really eating so bad. I used to eat just fried chicken with like a huge soda. I really could finish a half a bottle of soda with nothing, like nothing, because I was trying to avoid feeling sad or frustrated with my career or going to work every day by eating, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to go deep inside, look deep inside. What is the reason that we're feeling that we need to eat like this?
Mm-hmm.
Why we having this conduct? What are we are? Why are we are addicted to food? What is the main reason, right? My main
Mm-hmm.
reason is that I learned that food will fix everything. That's why I used to eat the way I used to eat,
Yeah.
because I was fixing my frustrations, my sadness, my happiness, my everything with food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was so
Because
easy. It was easier to eat cheap. And I also, because like financially, things were not good. So I do have to, eat whatever was available. Right. It was a
mm-hmm.
moment that after my my accident, and when I fractured my back, financially we went to a big burn. So
Mm-hmm.
it was eating whatever you could afford. But you know what? There is also many options for you to eat healthy. There
Mm-hmm.
is.
So actually, going back to keto, right? Because I know a lot of people are saying they lost weight over keto, but for you on your part, it's not only keto that you
No,
did,
I
right?
did not. I did not eat only keto because I was extremely overweight. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do it myself. I couldn't do this myself. And I was already in conversations with my surgeon. I have a surgeon because my plan was to do a gastric bypass
Mm-hmm.
surgery before that. But my surgeon was like, you are not ready. You're not ready. You're not ready. You're not ready to get into surgery because you still have your mind. You're thinking like a big person, obese. If I do the surgery, you're gonna end up exploring your stomach. You're gonna end up opening your scars, and we're gonna have a bigger issues. So my surgeon really made sure I was mentally ready and prepared. I needed to prove to him that I could lose weight on my own before getting into surgery, which I appreciate because some surgeons, they don't really care. They just wanna charge the insurance and they will do the surgery without you being ready, right? So
Yeah.
he did that. So I finally on March I was approved for the second part of my surgery, where I lost the other 87 pounds. It was 300. It was 137 pounds total. Yeah, 204, like 130 pounds total. Wait, let me make up my numbers. 337 to 210. That was right.
Yeah.
So, and then I gained some weight. We're gonna talk about it as well too. So, and then so all of that, my second part, my first 50 pounds on keto, and then the rest of my pounds I did after surgery. And I
Yes.
did not have the gastric bypass. My surgeon didn't consider that I really needed, because regardless of regardless of my diabetes, because I was a diabetic person
Mm-hmm.
during surgery. I remember I mentioned to
Yeah.
you that I was a diabetic. When I
Yeah.
became a diabetic, I shared it with you because you was always into eating healthy. So I was like, I need to talk about this with someone, and I went
Yeah.
to you, right? I said, Rochie, I'm a diabetic now. What I'm going to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it
Yeah.
was a very sad moment. But
Yeah.
with the diet, my sugars got better. After surgery, my sugars got even better. Fatty liver, I used to have the beginning of fatty liver.
Yeah.
It went away. So by losing weight, only it was I of course I did it for my son because I didn't want to leave him by himself mainly, but I didn't want to be a sick person anymore.
Yes.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I was on the journey. I'm on the journey of keeping healthy and get and be a healthy person. So that was the main reasons I did it. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I remember, like before, because, when we have, I would say, grade school boys, they're always running and everything. I know you'll be like, Rochie, just go run after them because I know you cannot run with the boys because I know, and I'm always say, you know what, Carolina, just stay there because I'm also scared that because your breathing is, I would say that your breathing was not good at that time. You're
No.
struggling to breathe. Any single activity was hard, but one thing I admire you though at that time, you are still always smiling and you're always positive on that one. And you're not scared to talk about like I need to lose weight. What will I do? Because I know most people they tend to be, they would talk about losing weight, but they're scared because some other people would tell you, oh, you're still not losing weight, or they're afraid of being heckled or judged by other people. But for you, you're like, you know what? I'm diabetic. What will I do? Or this, like you are very open on sharing your story. And that's why
Yeah.
I love you for that. Right?
And you know why? I'm a big believer on sharing your story because that is what's gonna lead other people to do that.
Mm-hmm.
100% believe that we're here to inspire other people. If I can
Yes.
inspire other people with my story, then this was meant to be, right? People is
Mm-hmm.
going to follow you with the example. That was also one of the reasons I do wanted to do it because I work as a community activist in New Brunswick. So how do I gonna inspire the women in the community to get better, to eat better, to stop eating stuff that is not good for them if I'm myself a very overweight person? And you remind me something when you said, I remember I wouldn't be able to talk like this straight. I was always like
Yes.
catching
Mm-hmm.
air while I was talking. It was like you couldn't confuse. Oh, she's very excited. That's why she talks like that. But in reality, it was because I couldn't hold my breathing for too long. So even in videos that I have from our kids in the school, on the videos when I watch the videos, you can hear my breathing in the background. It's
I
like
know,
that. It's
right?
strong. Like I was always looking up for air. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a you put yourself into a lot, and you're right. I couldn't even run. I was trying to be present for my kid. I was always trying to be there, but it was a struggle for me to play with
Mm-hmm.
him or to just keep. But it takes time to realize that how much you damage your own self, because
Mm-hmm.
it's you damaging your own self, nobody else, by doing that. You're boycotting your own self by not
Yeah.
choosing to get healthier.
Mhm. So, just to be, a little recap for others. So, you lost 50 pounds, around 50 pounds through the
And then I
keto
did
diet.
87 more,
Uh
87
huh.
more. And then
87
after
more.
that,
Did
87
you do
more,
the
but
surgery? You did the
yes,
surgery. Yes.
I did the surgery on March 15, 2019.
Hmm.
So 2 years ago. And after that, I keep losing, 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 losing. For the first 18 months after surgery, the only thing you do is just to lose weight.
Hmm.
And then you have to learn how to eat because believe me when I tell you, when they tell you they're going to cut your stomach and they're going to make it little, they make it freaking little. Seriously.
Seriously.
Like, you can hold any. I remember one time I wanted it to eat, and that was a fight with myself. When I woke up from surgery, I was sad and I was upset and I was a little depressed because food was my love. I
Hmm.
love food, right? And now with the keto diet, I was still loving food because I could eat big amounts of food, but I was still losing weight, but I was eating a lot. Like my
Hmm.
mentality, my setup was to eat crazy amounts of money. I mean,
Oh,
I
money.
keep saying money. I keep saying
Food.
money. I keep saying I've been thinking of money for some reason today, but my mentality wasn't eating crazy amounts of food, right?
Hmm.
So after surgery, I couldn't do that anymore. So it was a divorce. I have to divorce, seriously, go through a divorce from food to my
Okay.
own self.
Okay, let's do a little reality check for those who might be thinking that they want to do the surgery. After the surgery, you are not allowed to eat solids, right? For how long?
Uh,
I think you
I
only
didn't
got
eat.
like liquid.
I did liquid diet for almost 6 weeks.
Mm.
I know some people, I know some people eat after a week. I could not. So it took me 6 weeks without eating solid foods. I used to blend my soup in containers like this. Like my boss at my job used to laugh at me, say, "What are you doing?" Like one sitting was one of those containers of food, right?
Mhm.
So no, it's not. There's the surgery is not the biggest solution. It is the biggest challenge. I always laugh when people say, "Oh, you lose weight because you have surgery."
Yeah.
No, you are crazy because you have surgery. That's what they're supposed to say. You don't know until you go through the whole thing.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it is a challenge. First of all, I was never a heavy drinker, but when you go out, you always have like a drink or something.
Yeah.
I did have my first drink on my birthday. I remember it was my birthday. I was with my boyfriend, and I used to have always a glass of rum and coke. They say I'm a very old soul with that. I used to like to have that, and he make me one. It was 7 o'clock at night when I have that. I kid you not. I woke up the next morning at 11:30 in the morning. I passed out. So your body changed. I know a lot of people has no issues having alcohol. I can have. So if you're somebody who enjoy drinking socially, then this is not for you, right?
Yeah.
If you're somebody who really like to eat and socialize like that and you're used to drink and eat at the same time, this is not for you.
Mhm.
Because that's
Yeah.
something you also gotta get used to, eating without drinking.
Hmm.
You know how we eat, right? We
Yeah.
eat and we have a little bit of water to just, water it down. You can do that. Because if you drink, then you feel full and you don't feel your body properly. Because remember, you have to go through the whole process and learning how to eat again. One thing that
Mhm.
happened to me, I started losing my hair
Oh,
after
okay.
surgery because your body is not taking the same nutrients,
I
vitamins,
see.
and minerals and all of that. And you go through that. My hair was falling. That's why I took a long time to color it, almost 2 years and a half because of that. Because your hair falls and you have patches of empty hair on your head because of the
Mhm.
surgery. Now, I see some people who claims that they didn't have that issue. Good for them. Because I have all the issues that you could have and imagine with the surgery, I went through that. So it's
Yeah.
not easy. It's not easy like they said. And the pain, it is a lot.
Yes, they would tell you because you know what, you have to heal your body when it comes to surgery, and it's not like giving birth. Like after 2 weeks you're done. It's really learning how because I mean, when you do gastric bypass, you really make sure your intestines are small, right? Shorter.
And one thing you just see me doing, right? So I just drink water in front of you, and that's the amount I just drink. And that also you feel it on your stomach. It make you a little gassy immediately. You can gulp water like that anymore
Mhm. Slowly,
because
right?
your stomach will feel it right immediately. So the little things that they're normal for you to do, they're not normal anymore. You have to learn how to deal with that. Now you go to a restaurant and sometimes I still feel to this day that I want to have a drink and I want to eat something or I even want to have my food with some water. You can do that. I don't order a dish for myself anymore. What I
Interesting.
do is all my family order their food and I grab a little plate for the dog, right? And I grab a little bit of their dishes for me to eat.
Yeah.
You save a lot of money in food now when you go out, right?
Yeah.
But you have to change your mentality. It have to come from inside you to really want to do this. I
Yeah.
really commend and congratulate the people who have done it without surgery as well. But both things are a challenge.
Mhm.
Different kind of challenge, but it's a challenge. So it's just different stuff. But it's doable. Yes, you can do it. it requires a lot. Yes, I do have to say though, after I did it, I'm not allowed to say names, but after I did it, a lot of people felt inspired to do so. So after
Uh-huh.
people see me doing my surgery, people from my family, friends, they done that. They done the surgery a lot. Sometimes I get aggravated. I say, of course, because I did it. Not everybody's doing it. But yes, a couple of people did it closer to
Mhm.
me, and they having different experiences. But every and I'm saying this because every story or every experience is completely different.
Mhm.
You know.
And and I think beyond the surgery, it's also really what the doctor told you before is the mental preparation for it. Because
Yes.
it's a big transformation. It's a drastic change. I mean, you've been what eating, and then all of a sudden during the surgery, oh, you can't do this anymore, or like I used to eat this amount of food, and then all of a sudden you're only able to eat like not even one cup of something. It it can make you really depressed if you're not prepared for it, right?
No, and I don't think there is no preparation for this. Nothing can prepare you for this craziness. For real. You're never going to be really ready. It is a lot, you know. It is a lot because you feel like, oh, this is ridiculous. Like I never expect this. And to my mind, several times I was like, you know what? I make a mistake. I should stay with my keto diet and I would be fine. I would be able to eat a lot. No, because everything happened for a reason. And everything happened in the moment that you're supposed to let that happen. And
Mhm.
like you say, it's not only a transformation of your body, your
It's your mind.
mind,
Mhm.
the way you think is just wild. In the beginning, I tell you, excuse me. In the beginning, I said, I used to be the person who always want to be that good person, right? Always
Mhm.
want to be that person who never say no. You always try to be there for everybody because you think they're not going to like you because you're fat, right? So you always try
Mhm.
to be like, the person who always gonna say yes, yes, yes to everything. But I learned that okay, saying no is fine. You know,
Mhm.
prioritize it's fine. Eh, Be a little. People will say, "Oh, you're being selfish." You're just thinking on you and you're not thinking in everybody else. No, because I'm thinking on me. I'm trying to protect myself and I'm prioritizing myself. So
Mhm.
this opened my mind to see who was really the people who was really with me from the beginning to the end, who was really my support. And I learned, and that took me to make a lot of changes on my friendships. I
Mhm.
I really started a little campaign when I was getting rid of people who really didn't add to my life.
Yeah. Mhm.
That was one of the things I did, right? Then I decided to, okay, you know what? I'm going to move. And everything started to like accommodate in a ridiculous way that I was like, wow, opportunity was just pretty much knocking at my door. Obviously, probably being big, it would have happened as well. But for some reason, the energy that I was projecting,
Yes.
the way that I was feeling in my own self, right? I was feeling good. I was feeling proud. I was feeling better. I was feeling prettier. Let me tell you,
Mhm.
and you know that I don't have to tell you, but I tell this to the audience. I always love myself on my biggest. I
Mhm.
always dress myself. I always do my hair. I always did my makeup.
Love it.
Like my image wasn't an issue. I was always a pretty fat girl. I always
Mhm.
love myself. But seeing myself as smaller, it was a big boost, you know?
Mhm.
And I could project that to people. So with that say, a lot of opportunities start open up and projects and more things. All of the sudden, I'm not only a community person, I'm not only a chef, I'm not only somebody who works in a doctor's office, I became an entertainer,
Yes.
right? So all of the sudden, out of the blue, something called cooking outside the box started, which is my cooking show. And then along with that, on the way, I got invited to be a co-host of another show with the county called Share Your Foodways.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, a lot of invitations to do different stuff and talk in the community and talk in a different level, universities, teaching classes for like ARP. One thing started led to the other one for so
Mm-hmm.
many reasons. First of all, the energy that I put out, my body was allowing me to do more of these things and commit
Yes.
to more things because I have more energy.
Energy. Yep.
My mentality has changed because I was able to do things for myself, and because I took myself out of those toxic relationship with my friends, and keep the people who really mean a lot for me, and vice versa. So I was able to filter all of that. It's like I went into a cleaning process, right? I
Mm-hmm.
clean my body, I fix my appearance, and that allowed me to fix my life, my child, my relationship with my boyfriend, my relationship with my family also changed. I used to be an enabler. That's
Mm-hmm.
exactly the
Yeah.
word that I should use. And I was like, you know what? No, because if I did the first step on fixing my appearance and fixing myself, let me fix everything else around me and around my kid. And that's exactly what I did. And I was always helping the community, but also another revolution occurred with that because I have more energy, because
Yeah.
I was able to carry more boxes and all of that. I started during the pandemic my diaper drive, food drive, and I was driving around the city, delivering food and diapers and this and that and all of that. All of a sudden, I get so many awards for my work, and I was never looking for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, I got elected on the top 100 most Latino influencers of the state, right?
Yes.
And then I got elected from one of the 100 women who built New Brunswick, a community that I just moved in, right? It is a
Yes.
community that I just moved in, and all of a sudden I'm being welcomed from this city on that way. However, I was working on that on this city before, but it's like the I mean, I'm a Christian. I always believe on the grace of God, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
also believe on the energy that we put on the universe.
Yeah.
How you feel about yourself, is you're gonna put that energy on the people, and they're gonna feel it. And opportunity is gonna start knocking at your door. Not because you lost the weight, it's because you change your whole self from the inside. And it's
Yeah.
reflecting outside. The way you talk, the way you walk, the way you perform yourself, the way you proceed on your life, and the way you even do negotiations, it's different. Because before, I used to be like, oh, there is this, and that. I used to say, oh, whatever you say is fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, I'm like, no, we want this, and that. And that's how we're going to make it. So I'm not going to say I became bossy. I became more, not even demanding. I became more like this is the word. I
Value.
value myself
Exactly.
more. And that
Mm-hmm.
helped me to put that out so people start seeing you and treating you different.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing a whole lot of things before, but it's like I have the 2.0 version of myself now.
Mm-hmm. Upgraded.
Yeah, yes.
Yes. So actually that is what I was really thinking, because most people say if you want to change, you change it on your own. And I think because of your physical transformation, what you've gone through, you valued yourself more. Like you would feel now like yes, you could eat, but you valued yourself more, and that's what people actually saw in you, like that you are valued. And then of course that's the way of the universe. Once you show the world your value, then they will look, like making that standard, then people will have the same standards for yourself, right?
You know what it is? If you respect yourself more, people will respect you and see you different. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you became somebody that they look up to. they're not looking down to you anymore. They're looking up to you. And that makes such a big difference in how people is gonna treat you. I'm not saying that I'm the one looking to people now. No, I always respect
Yeah.
everybody. That was always my main thing. I oh brown, white, but for me everybody is the same and I treat them the same. But the way they see you is different. And
Mhm.
because you're respecting yourself, you loving yourself, you being kind to your own self, people respect you, people love you, and people is kind to you.
Oh, see, it's not only the weight loss because people would say, okay, so I'm gonna do this other surgeries to make me sexier, and this one, no, it's really how you present yourself after that, what you're thinking, and what you are really projecting, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
It is
See,
absolutely like that.
okay, we have a question here.
Yes.
Were
I
you
think we have a
from
lot of people
Pamela?
making comments. Yes.
Yes. So here, Pamela said, were you afraid to change your lifestyle? How did you overcome the new challenges of having less food proportions? So first, were you afraid of the new lifestyle?
Uh, I was not afraid of the new lifestyle because I was already eating healthy. You and I, we talk about different options of for sugars and coconut
Yeah,
sugar and all of
yes.
that. So I wasn't really afraid of the change because I was already myself going through a change with the diet. The diet helped me a lot to kind of get used to the healthy choices, the healthy options. So it was a better transition with me having the diet prior to surgery.
Mhm.
Dealing with the smaller portions, like I said during the interview, it was difficult to adapt because I want to have my huge steak like before. I want to have my half a chicken. I want to have my half a bottle of soda in one sitting in front of the TV after a day of working on the kitchen when I was also eating at work. My life was very different. And yes, I was so looking forward to just eat, right? And when I had to transition and I had to eat way much less, it was crazy, It's like, oh my God, like what do I'm going to do? And yes, it takes some time to get used to it. But like I said, it's okay now. It's fun for me because I can grab a little bit of each plate and taste everything.
Yeah,
So I
buffet.
get used to it.
You can
Yeah,
have your tiny buffet and taste
yeah,
everything, right?
exactly, exactly.
Yeah, it's
You
maybe just a change in mindset. Instead of just having one steak, you can have everybody's food. You can taste
Yeah,
everything, right?
but if you overeat, you also will throw up. That's something
Yeah.
people don't talk. People don't really talk about that. But yes, it's something that you also have to keep in mind that it's not like that easy. If you overeat, you'll throw up. So that's why you have to learn how to control yourself and not eat as much. So that's why the doctor said you will learn how to eat again. And that's true.
Mhm. Yeah. So it's really eating again, because this the thing I've noticed, because I visited the Philippines a couple of times, but I've been here in the U.S. for over 20 years now. So I've noticed here in the US, our portions are huge, like
Yeah.
really huge. Because going back in the Philippines, I go in a restaurant, I would say, okay, I'm gonna order um, burger, fries, and a soda. And I'm like looking, is that a kid's meal? Because here in the US, that looks like a kid's meal. But when they said those are the not, those are the right portions that you should be eating. And then I was like, really? And I remember when I brought my kids in the Philippines, we bought like what we call a personal size pizza. And at that time, my oldest, she's only 7 years old. She's like, Mom, I need two of these. As I said, why? That's a personal pizza. They're like, it's not even a slice of pizza in the US.
I
Because
know.
it's like, and a 7-year old can really notice that. I was like, yeah, I just realized that this personal pizza, it's actually one lunch for an adult. And for
The
the
portions
kids,
are the
and the kids
portions
are
are
like,
huge.
yes, the kids are like, what? And I think that's the thing. When you see, when you're given more, you want to consume more. Even
Yeah.
sometimes you're full, you just want to finish it, right?
You know why? It's also a cultural thing. I used to have this discussion with my nutritionist all the time. You feel like you have to finish whatever you get on the plate. And we have to learn that it's okay if you don't finish a dish. Because I understand we shouldn't waste food and this and that. But that doesn't mean you are the one who have to finish the whole plate,
Yeah.
right? And yes, I understand that we shouldn't be wasting. You can take it home or give it to somebody else in your house. You don't have to finish the whole plate.
Yeah.
We have to
Actually,
learn that,
yeah,
we should do
exactly. That's what I taught my kids before. If you don't finish it, take it home. It's lunch tomorrow. It's your snack tomorrow. It's your
the
dinner. And it's your meal. And it's funny because if we go in restaurants, they would be laughing because I have a pen. Because everybody has their own containers, and we will just
yeah,
put name on the top of the box. And they said why? Because they don't want their sibling opening their own food, so we know already which box it is.
exactly. Exactly. That's
Yeah.
the way to do it.
Okay, so we have one question here from Byron.
Okay.
Can you give us some advice to motivate me to eat healthy?
Well, you have to try to feed your body with the mentality of not the now, the future, right?
Mhm.
If I feed myself with this now, do I'm going to live longer? It is really gonna help me to have a better life later on. This can cause me illness later on. So you have to love your body to take care of it. Because when our car gets broken, we go to the dealership and we get another one.
Mhm.
If we have the microwave broken or anything in the house, we just go and
Buy
replace
it.
it with another one. Sadly, we can go and get a new heart, a new pancreas, or a new liver that fast and easy. Sometimes it can be forever, and sometimes we can never make it happen. And sometimes, which is worse, we don't even know that we need that, and we can pass away without knowing. And all of this could be prevented by just eating healthier or making better life decisions. So feed yourself with that mentality. What is going to happen with my body if I decide to eat this now?
Oh, that's good. And you know what, for Byron, here's the tip that I want to for eating healthy. Do not deprive yourself, because one thing I noticed, like they would say, "Oh, you have to be eating vegetables, eat salads." My kids and I are not big salad eaters. Like those crunchy things, we don't like that. And my kids actually call it goat food or cow's food. But guess what? You can eat vegetables too if you like it cooked. Like for me, I do little stir fry. If I stir fry something like mixed veggies, my kids will eat it. Just spinach. Like you wilt the spinach, saute it a little bit in olive oil and garlic. You're done. Salt and pepper, sometimes balsamic vinegar. You eat your vegetables. You just don't have to say, if you don't like something, like for me, I don't like eggplant, so I don't eat eggplant. But I would eat another type of vegetable that, I could eat cucumbers anytime. I could eat string beans anytime. So just because you don't want one kind of vegetable or one kind of food, don't remove all the things. I would say, be adventurous with your food, right, Carolina?
You have to try new things, because otherwise you will totally get crazy and bored and start eating bad just because of that.
Yeah, I
You have
agree.
to get creative, and you have to get into the kitchen. Even if you don't like to eat, really, you just gotta get into the kitchen. You just gotta get into the hang of it and try to just eat, because even if it make you super tired to just get home and cook, try to make some food prep and try to prepare ahead if you have a busy life, right? Or if you can cook and you're eating out, try to make healthy choices. Like you say, salad, you don't like salad. I love salad. I love to eat salad and meat. But some people doesn't like it. Like your kids, the chewy vegetables and all of that, they don't really like. But there is different options, right? There is
Yeah,
different things they can eat. Maybe cooked vegetables or maybe I don't know, some seeds, some
roasted.
nuts.
Yeah, they love roasted vegetables.
You
Anything
see?
you just put it in, like peppers, whatever, onions, and mixed veggies, whatever kind of veggies we have. We just put it, in the oven, roast it. They're happy. But if you
Yeah,
give them a bowl of salad, they're not gonna touch it. So you know what? I said we're not gonna go crazy and buy the salad. Buy the vegetables and roast it.
it goes bad. It's gonna
Yeah.
die on the fridge.
So I always say if they don't like it, it's fine. But the thing is, it's still vegetables, and for them, it tastes good, right?
Yeah,
Oh, we have
absolutely.
one nice question here, Carolina. Because you know what, we mentioned that you lost like over 100 pounds, like 130 pounds. Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
the size of my daughter, right? That's one
So
person.
that's a whole daughter.
Yeah, one daughter. So what did you do with your old clothes?
There was a girl at my I work in the doctor's office, and there was a girl who was also big, working in another location. And I have one thing I have to say. When I was big, the bigger scraps you can found it so cheap, brand names. So I used to have beautiful scraps to go to work. Beautiful. I used to have all the colors, very, very beautiful scraps. So I offer her if she wanted to take the clothes. Boots, like I told you, like I mentioned before, I used to love to dress well. I
Yeah.
was very spoiled that part by my boyfriend. I noticed he was putting some in the chat. He used to take me to those, I used to wear those expensive clothes for big girls. Ashley Stewart, Tori, all of that. So I used to have nice stuff, boots and nice clothing. I gave it to her. I was very fortunate to find somebody who will be able to use it, and I was happy to see her wearing it. So she's still using the clothes I gave her.
Oh, and you know what? One thing I want to really mention, guys, Carolina is a very, very generous person. She's always there giving something, and during the pandemic, she really made a big difference in her community. So, can you tell us more about it? What you've done during the pandemic?
Yes, I'm a community activist by choice. So I decide that we have to stop complaining about the problems in the world and start to do something about it, right? So that's why I decided to start my diaper drive and food drive during the pandemic, and that led to a lot of different projects. That even led to the cooking show. So why?
Mhm.
Because I was delivering the boxes of food, and some of the people didn't know what to do with those ingredients.
Mhm.
Sometimes we get a lot of cans, and Latino community, they don't know how to use those cans.
Mhm.
So that's how I started the cooking show, to teach the people what to do or how to cook with those ingredients. That is how we started cooking outside the box. And then because of that, I got invited to do the show as a chef, as an invite chef for that time. And then I ended up being the co-host for the other show, Share Your Food Waste. Then after that, when I was doing the food delivery, I realized that the kids started they start getting they never stop getting bigger, right? They
Mhm.
keep going and they keep having their birthdays. So they didn't have a cake or nothing to celebrate their birthdays.
Yeah.
I partnered up with two of my two good friends, Chef Chrissy and Chef Garima, and then we start a project called Birthday in a Box Project. I have a little obsession with boxes for some reason. So what Birthday in a Box is that we do provide a kid with a beautiful, beautiful fancy boutique or personalized cake. I don't know how to call it.
Yeah,
A
fancy
beautiful,
cake.
beautiful cake. Boutique cake, very personalized, very to the detail. Chef Garima is a super professional baker, so she will do a cake according onto what the kid like or the
Mhm.
theme, and she will make every detail, like every cake that she made during the whole process. It was amazing. So we will have a cake, the contents of a birthday box, like decorations, plates, candy, juices, you name it, we will put it on the box. And then if we have enough donations, we will throw pizzas, and we will also throw a present for the kid.
Mhm.
So that was also what we did. And then all of the sudden, with Sister World, which is the organization I have with my friends as well, to improve the life of girls to go to college, we also did a lot of campaigns. We were able to give gift cards for the moms to go get food. Some of them don't drive, so we were able to give them a taxi card so they can go in the taxi and then can go get their food. You know, uh, every time that I give something, I try to think that we have to provide the whole thing, right? If we have bread, I try to give them with cream cheese. If we have bagels, if we have bread, sweet bread, then I try to give them with milk and hot chocolate so they can make it at home. So every time I provide something, I try to do it with excellence, because I always love to think when you're helping others, first of all, you're helping your own self. You're healing
Yeah,
your own soul. And also, I don't like the word doing the helping people because you're doing charity. To me, it's
yeah,
not charity. You have to learn how to give people with respect, allow them to choose whatever they want to get, because we all struggle in some point of life. I mentioned to you, I started doing this because when I had my back surgery, I was financially struggling so much, and because of that, that inspired me to start helping others, because we don't know what happened behind the door, the the walls of a house with the door
yeah.
closed. We don't know
Hmm.
all the things that the families have to go through to make it by to the month. Especially with the rents being so high in America and in the States right now, it's very difficult to make it to the end of the month. So if
Hmm.
I could do a little bit to help, or if I can give them the information, I will do. Because when I needed the help, people used to say, "Oh, I don't know. I did it. You have to figure it out." Because it took a lot for me to find out. I never want to give those answers to people. Oh, let them do it themselves because they have to figure it out on their own. Why I have to
Yeah,
do that to people? If I know the answers, let me be the one helping them. But
true.
not everybody thinks like that. But that was the main reasons I started doing all of these. And yes, I do help the community, but I don't like to say that I'm the one helping. I'm just I'm just the people in the middle. I'm just a helper of God. He's just
Oh,
using me and the instrument for all of this to happen. I wouldn't have it any other way, because I honestly think this was the purpose of God in my life. So I'm just
yeah.
doing what he told me to do.
Actually, you know what? I was really surprised because at that time, during the pandemic, it was last year, I saw you that she's like, oh, if you can't go out and you have extra, we'll go to your house, we'll pick it up, like, and I'm like, oh my God, we're just so far because, because you're in New Brunswick,
You,
right?
Rochie. Yes.
So I'm like, oh, it's too far. And then, at that time, we're not going out anymore. I got sick, but we're like, look at Carolina. She's like doing everything. And I'm so happy looking at you on Facebook. And I'm like, look at all the energy. And I like the positivity because I remember when we were doing something here in Middlesex, like we have the food pantries here. I already told my kids, like, okay, clean up anything that you don't like here anymore, because there's some food that, we buy it in bulk in grocery. And then sometimes you leave it there and I say, you know what, kids, put it outside. And then it's just we have the pantry and I'm like, look, Carolina, because New Brunswick is not as it is huge, right? Compared to our
You
town.
know what? And it is also a lot of difference between New Brunswick and Middlesex. Middlesex I love, but it was just it's the same estate. It's
Yeah.
actually the same county, but it's completely different.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a big undocumented community here, which means the struggle is bigger because we
Yes.
struggle on having access to better jobs with a better pay. Majority of them that are not allowed to drive, so they can
Yeah.
drive their kids. So the struggles are completely different. And Middlesex, it was looking to my eyes that um it was everybody kind of have more their life together and they have
Yeah.
less issues. So I see a few families really struggling. Here it's completely different. And
Mhm.
I do have to say, and this is completely and totally my personal experience. I'm not trying to talk bad about Middlesex because my
Yeah.
son grew up in there and I love Middlesex, but I wasn't feeling as welcome. That was my personal experience. I did some politics in there. I did some boards in there as well. I felt like I was just one body. Just
Mhm.
I was there just for them to say that they have some Latino presence or they being inclusive.
Mhm.
But I never really feel like they were really completely inclusive.
Mhm.
If you understand what I'm trying to
Yes.
say, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, but I think because the population itself, we
it's
don't have
different.
much. It's very different. And I think you were sent on that area for a big reason. And that is how.
Exactly. But you know what? Believe it or not, I work with some families in Middlesex. I do
Yes.
go and bring food for Middlesex families.
Mm-hmm.
I do go a couple of times a month to Middlesex to work with a couple of families. That's why I told you it's not the same. There is families on need in Middlesex as well, but there is a humongous need in New Brunswick as well. But it's different areas. It's a completely different situation. But I do love dearly both city, when the town and the city, yes, because Abraham grew up there. He had his friends, he didn't have the chance to meet many kids here in New Brunswick from the school, but he's really missing Abraham. Abraham is really missing his friends from Middlesex as well. We have a wonderful life in Middlesex.
Yeah.
And I have friends just like you. We always kept in contact.
Of course, right?
Yeah,
No, because I always say we have a small town, and then but sometimes you have to go out of our comfort zone, right?
yeah.
Because I would say that's what transformation is for you, because you really moved and you found yourself there, right? But we're
It
still
was
here for you.
like everything happened so fast, and everything happened in like some boom like that, right? It was like this, all these things like it was just so fast, so easy, so 1, 2, 3, and it was like okay, the surgery, the moving, bam, bam. It was like 2019. It was like shh,
Yep.
a year of changes and so much and so fast. But like I said, and like the way we were talking in the very beginning, it was because the energy that you put out. People will notice your presence if you put it out. Because if you enter a place feeling like, oh, I'm not really welcome here, or like people is gonna look at me because I'm big or I'm fat. People's gonna see you like that, even if you're not fat, even if you're not big, even if
Yes.
you're not like if you're not ugly, but if you're feeling like that, people is not even gonna notice you because that's how you feel, and people can perceive that, and it's like day and night. But if you're feeling powerful, if you're feeling pretty, if you're feeling like you have a value, the energy is different and people will see you different. Well, like we were talking before, right? Respect yourself, people will respect you. If you love yourself, people will love you. If you value
Yes.
yourself, people will value too. It's just that. People will give you the value you deserve because you're doing that to your own self first.
See?
And then you'll teach your kids to do the same because they know how do they have to act. Let me make sure my kids are seeing that too. I don't have to tell Abraham. He realizes and he started doing the same thing, respecting herself. And then that you can also sense when he got into a room. inspire others, starting by your own family and your own house.
Wow, those are really powerful words. And you know what, guys? It's all about you. That's what uh, Carolina was telling you. The self transformation. We don't usually, like for her, in her surgery, the weight loss, it's not about vanity. It's about the change. Like she wants to be healthy. It's not for her to be like a cover model of a magazine or whatever, right? It's
I didn't do it
really,
because of that reason. I just wanted it to be healthy. I wanted
yes.
it to be able to do more things. I just wanted it because essentially, if we put it so fast and easy, I didn't want to die young
Mhm.
because I wanted it there. I wanted it to be here for my son. And you know what? Because of this, the stuff that is happening in the world right now, and I'm asking you this question as well. What would you think? I'll tell you what I think, but what would you think when I was big and with all the issues that you saw me going through? What would you think would have happened to me in this spike of COVID?
Oh,
Right?
I would tell you right away you're one of those high risk and everything, and I'll be like checking on you, like, are you okay? Because
Yeah,
we knew, like like
yeah.
all those things. And for me, I even had COVID. I got sick for 3 weeks, and I would say, yes, I'm a bigger than what I used to be, but I play badminton
But
three
you're
times
very
a week.
healthier. You're
I am
always
very
healthy.
Yes, I am I would say when I went to my doctor, because it's been 3 weeks, to during the second week, I went to the doctor because my husband is already scared because I'm having a hard time breathing, and I can't stand up on my own, and I'm having a hard time. So we went to the hospital, the ER. They put, like they got all the I got tested for all those and everything, and they're like, I think you're gonna go back home. I said, why do I need to go home? I feel like I'm dying, because it's hard to breathe and everything. And they're like, no, you're perfectly fine, you're in good health, you can fight this virus. All you need to do is just keep yourself hydrated and just rest. And I'm like, what? I can't even imagine those who are really having, who are in really bad shape, or they're not healthy to begin with, and they would be fighting the virus.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. I
it's,
wouldn't
it's
be able
like
to
too
make,
much.
like, I couldn't
Mhm.
do it, you know? And you know what? I did not have the virus. I mean, not that I know. Maybe I
Yeah.
didn't. I never noticed. But yes, I was outside dropping the boxes, working with the community, doing the. I have a lot of hate though. A lot of people call me and tell me, "What are you doing? What are you doing this for people? People has to figure it out how to help themselves.
No.
You can be exposing yourself and you're a kid like this." I was like, that's not gonna stop me. This is not going to stop me. And I honestly, I didn't get sick, thank God, but I was working and serving people who was really sick. I was
Yeah.
in contact with them every single day.
Yeah, and actually, I was praying for you because I saw her like, oh my God, she's doing so much. Like for me, like I can't go out because I'm sick because one of my kids, because my
Exactly.
and it's
Yeah,
like it's a lot of us. So one of the kids get exposed even though they're not sick, they have to stay home. And if
yeah,
they're staying home, we are advised not to go out as well because just in case somebody gets sick, all of us. So we're like, oh my God, bless her soul. I'm like, but I always say, and then they're like, oh, look what I was telling my kids, look what they're doing, can you pray for her that she doesn't get sick,
Aw.
because you're doing a good job. I mean, I would say you are really helping people at that time, and it's really like it's something that uh if you didn't yeah if you were in that situation, like I've known you maybe 5 years 6 years ago, you wouldn't I'm sure you wouldn't be able to do that.
No,
you know you
no.
wouldn't.
If I would have got sick, it would be a totally different story, a totally different situation,
Mhm. But
completely.
again, yes, but
But
that
like I said, everything
transformation.
happens for a reason. What would I say to somebody who's thinking on do it? Do your research. Try to find out. Try to make sure you're mentally ready Go to your therapist first. Find out why are you being overweight before doing any of this. Your life is gonna change. I saw a lot of people flourish after having the surgery. It is amazing the impact that you can cause to your own self by doing this, but just make sure pick a good surgeon, look up on the surgeons. One of my friends told me, "Oh, you gotta make sure you pick a doctor who didn't kill too many, right? That's a good." I was like, "How about going to a surgeon who didn't kill anybody, right?" But you have to really do your research and try to find out who is the right person to do so. Pray on it. I did pray a lot before doing it because it's a big change. It's going to be life changing. Absolutely. Your life changed tremendously when you decide to do something like this. I'm because I'm still a big girl. Like I'm still and having a big weight. So a lot of people is asking me because there is a chance that you can do a correction of it, like stitch it again and make it a little smaller again. So if people asking me, are you going to do it? Are you going to transition to a bypass? Because I did a sleeve, which is
Mhm.
making your stomach is smaller, but the bypass is just going, just making a cut, skipping your stomach, so you eat really, really less. So that you make in extreme situation when you are like over 600 pounds, people is not doing that other surgery as much as like the other one. Now, the majority of people, that's the gastric sleeve.
The sleeve, yeah.
Mhm.
So, but I think it's really, when it comes to transformation or even weight loss, we should do it for the right reasons. And it's
Exactly.
really for our, it's really for ourselves, not for others, because at the end of the day, if you're just doing it for another person that's not really that important for you, or for the sake of vanity, it will not stick in, right?
No, no, no. Well, speaking about vanity, I want to talk about something very important that whoever is interested on the surgery has to also put into perspective. You're gonna lose weight dramatically, fast, in a so fast time. You're gonna be pretty much, losing weight like that. With that said, we talk about hair already, right?
Hair loss.
Okay, hair loss. You also going to have your skin hanging in a way that you're not ever gonna imagine.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed to say it because it happens to a lot of people. If you don't combine this with a lot of exercise, and even though if you exercise, you will have your skin hanging. Like I'm not afraid to show you because, like, look, it's reality, and we're doing
Yeah.
reality right now. So you see this? That's that's my whole body. Like, that's what will happen to you after this. So if you're gonna be okay having that and having issues with your skin like that, go for it. But it's going to happen. It's
Mhm.
something you're not gonna be able to avoid. Now, if you like wanna do it for vanity and you wanna get rid of your excess skin, there is also surgeries available to do that. It has to be crazy painful, and it is crazy expensive because that's something what insurance will not cover.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But I just wanted to share that as well because you know we try to be as honest as possible.
yeah, actually, I like that because most people, especially right now in social media, they would tell you like a before and after, and they would be like this perfect bodybuilder bodies, not an ounce of fat. It's not gonna happen that way. Just like for me, when I had kids, after delivering the baby, you will have loose skin all over. It's not a six pack. It's not gonna happen. So, I mean, you could work on it after, but it's not gonna happen in 1 year or in 1 month or in 2 months that you're gonna be like a Barbie doll for one weird reason after being so big. So thank you for being honest with that, because some people, we tend to have this shortcuts when it comes to weight loss, and we think that if we just do this, we're gonna be in a perfect body. That's another ball game. Like
Yeah.
bodybuilding is another thing, right? The building of the muscles is another thing.
I mean, there's
This
some people who really enjoy to do exercises. In the beginning, I thought I would, and I was trying to really commit to do exercises, but I have to be honest with myself. I don't like to do that. And that is also causing more excess of skin. I don't like to do that. Like I live in a place that we have a beautiful is top of the line, state of the art
gym, gym,
facility
right?
with the gym. Yes. We have a pool on the roof as well that I could be swimming.
Yeah.
It's just not in me. When my father was here to visit from Peru, he was like, "Your gym is better than the Marriott on Lima, Peru, and you don't want to use it." I'm like, "No."
Yeah, she picks her own exercise, which is like walking and being active in the community. That's
Yeah,
her
yeah.
exercise,
But
right?
you need more like hardcore exercise to be able to fight that skin, and I really don't have it in me. So I maybe I'm gonna need to save for the surgery, but it's not a priority.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay, so thank you so much, Carolina.
absolutely. This was so
Oh,
much fun.
it
I
is
want to
so
say
much
thank you to
fun.
everybody who's watching us because I see a lot of comments. I also see that there's a lot of people watching us, but they're not commenting. But thank you so
Mhm.
much. Muchas gracias a todos los que nos están viendo, porque es que están conectados ahí con nosotros. Muchísimas gracias por vernos hoy.
Yeah. So she's thanking everybody, guys. So anyway, thank you so much, Carolina. So if you guys still have some questions for me or for Carolina, just type it in the comment section because we can go back and Carolina can answer them for you. And maybe
Of
we will,
course. Maybe
and
we
you
can do
can,
a second time if they want to. Yes.
yeah, we can even have a, I would say maybe after 6 months, a follow up on what's going on, and maybe we could talk
Yeah.
more about food, diet, and whatever we can, or making
Healthy eating.
savings. Yeah,
Healthy
help.
eating. Oh yes, yes. Before I forget, this also allow me to do a healthy eating sessions for ARP. So I teach that to people now. Yes.
See, so we can have another one coming up soon, guys. So put it in the comment section. What do you want to learn from Carolina? What do you want to learn from us? We would love all those topics. So, with that, guys, thank you so much and hope to see you again next week for another episode of Getting Candid with Rochie.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
Rochie. Thank you, everybody.